Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno, and joining me today, Ainsley Earhart, Cheryl Cassoni, Katrina Campins, and Todd Pyro. Now, we begin with the Biden administration's tone-deaf attempt to push pricey electric vehicles as Americans struggle to pay the bills. Food prices are still up 10% from last year, with gas prices jumping for 5 straight weeks. And a disturbing new study reveals that 8 million Americans earning more than $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. Meanwhile, President Biden is touting electric vehicle tax credits, tweeting this: "On my watch, the Great American Road Trip is going to be fully electrified," with a picture of himself, you guys, in a luxury Hummer, one that doesn't even qualify. The starting price of that vehicle is $87,000, which is nearly double the median American salary. And now, after severe criticism, the White House sent out a video of the president driving a Jeep that, actually does qualify. Ainsley, it's difficult to take them seriously with this correction, however, because the point remains that no matter what the president starts touting, it's always tone deaf in concept and then tone deaf in optics with however he tries to market it.
Well, he's pushing these electric vehicles, and everyone cares about the environment to some extent. We would all love to maybe possibly have one down the road, but they're very expensive. And when you have 2/3 of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck, that's a lot of people who can't afford to pay their bills. Electric bills are up, gas prices are up. We're seeing food costs at the grocery store up. So someone tweeted out, they said maybe the dealership would take a few dozen eggs in trade. I thought that was cute. Yeah, so it retails. The one he's driving in that picture retails for $86,000. That's the base model. I'm sure that has all the bells and whistles on it. Most families make $70,000 as a combined income. So one year of pay doesn't even pay for the car. And when you get the tax break of $7,500, it's still not enough to cover that year's salary for most Americans.
And then you combine that, Todd, with, for example, in California, where because of the fragility of the grid, you can't even charge your electric vehicle. So what are Americans supposed to do with the hand not only they've been dealt economically, but that they are continuing to be dealt by this administration with how off they are of what reality actually looks like for Americans?
Such an important point, because this White House has no idea where the electricity is going to come to power their electricity fever dreams. They hate nuclear, so it's not coming from nuclear. Wind and solar are their options, but as we've seen, completely unreliable because you need to rely on the sun. The wind turbines break, and so the only other option is to burn things for electricity, which is going to create more carbon pollution than, wait for it, American oil and American gas. And so that's where the problem lies. And you said this was tone deaf. This is either tone deaf or this is the White House's way of saying, look, you're going to enjoy electricity in an electric fueled world, whether you like it or not, whether you can afford it or not. $87,000 for a car, be damned.
That's a really great point. I think it's generous for the president, who isn't as perhaps acute as the rest of his staff is. Sir, he's tone deaf, but there's really an insidious nature behind these policies and behind these decisions, Cheryl, that I think belie the fact that the administration doesn't care about the average American and the struggles they're going through.
Well, and they continue to try to shift the conversation away from food inflation, which again, even in December of 2022, 10% jump overall. My favorite part was now they're talking about going after egg producers because they're thinking that there's price collusion in the egg industry. No, it was an avian flu that killed 50 million birds. That's a big piece of why we're seeing egg prices where they are right now, and that's about a 59% jump year over year. So they get your numbers straight first and foremost. And then as far as the electric vehicles go, look, you were talking about that Hummer. That's the base price. It goes up to $110,000. And now we're seeing Teslas. You know, there was all this big hoopla about, we're going to make batteries for electric vehicles here in this country, American jobs. Teslas are now breaking through that top barrier for that $80,000 limit from the IRS to get the tax break at all. And that's just the base models at some point for these Teslas. So again, let's forget about electric vehicles. Let's focus on the fact that in December, the fourth quarter in general, it's more like $56,000 for the average American salary out there. That is much less, Ainsley, to your point, than that Hummer was.
You know, Cheryl, you brought up such a great point, I think, that illustrates that there's so much that Americans have to account for that's unexpected, whether professionally or otherwise. So my family, we have a small agricultural business, and one year, over 30% of our crop was destroyed by birds. That's something that you can't control. And when an American, is living paycheck to paycheck, as we have discussed, and they're suddenly faced with a monster health bill, a piece of machinery they rely on that malfunctions, insurance covers only a certain amount. So when you are stifled by regulations by this administration, when you are told that you have to make shifts that are costlier than what you are used to, that's when you absolutely fall under the radar and you become discarded by this administration, because you can't account for the things that are unexpected, and then, however, the things coming from this administration that force you into that corner.
The way I see this topic is that a luxury, an electric car is a luxury. It's not a necessity. What is a necessity is housing. And that's where we really are in trouble, affordability. So I think what he should be doing is actually making a statement with regard to how he's going to help the American people with affordable housing and, in general, inflation. So income, mortgage rates, and home prices are the main factors right now affecting the American people. It's what's going to determine home buyers' fate in 2023. And in addition to that, rent prices are skyrocketing, right? So what is he going to do to try to help the American people when it comes to this? You're not supposed to spend, and we discussed this, you're not supposed to spend more than 30% of your income on housing. And yes, most American people are spending way above that. So to your point, Emily, you're left with very little money to be able to spend on other things like education and healthcare. Also, one thing that I found very interesting is that most of the searches online right now for homes, 7 of 10 of them are cross-market searches, which means that you are searching for a home other than where you currently reside, confirming the point that affordability is a main issue, because people are searching for homes that are more affordable than when they currently are. And so to me, it's like an electric car. It's the last thing on my mind. I want to know what he's doing to try to help home ownership and help people get out of renting and into homes.
I want to pick up on one thing real quick. The CPI report that we do every month on Fox Business, that shelter is 40% of that component of the price jumps that we're seeing is shelter, and it's rents. To Katrina's point, people are paying more and more for rent because we don't have enough affordable housing. And then you add to that the fact that it's cheaper to feed your family at McDonald's than it is to buy groceries at the grocery store. We got McDonald's earnings this morning. Their sales were actually really strong because people were going to McDonald's to feed their families.
Or they have a 7-year-old that loves a Happy Meal.
Well, there's that.
Are you there yet, Todd?
I'm the 7-year-old that likes the Happy Meal. So when we go to the doctor's office, which is right near the McDonald's, it's just like, we're going to get Daddy a
it's
Happy
only
Meal.
special occasions, because I'm trying not to do it. But.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, to that point, I think it's a sad state of affairs, and it's made so much more difficult when you don't have a leader in the White House. Right. When you don't have a leader in the White House that says, I see you, I feel your pain, so here's how I'm going to account for that transition with these goals in mind that you mentioned, Ainsley, of yes, we all one day want to preserve the planet, but until we get to that point, let me get down in the trenches with you now. And for the record, I literally am on Zillow every day looking at houses in Nashville, for the record. But I'm not going anywhere.
Good market.
Not going anywhere.
Talk to us.
So I'll let you know what's out there, Emily.
It's fun to do.
Market.
2 points, Companion. One, by the end of this hour, I am worried that with these 2 real estate experts, I'm going to put an offer in on something at some point.
We're going to convince you before this is over.
But 2, I think you highlighted, and we all highlighted something, this transformation that's going on in the electorate. The Democrats have become the party of the wealthy and the elite, and Republicans are becoming the party of the working man. You wouldn't have a Democrat 20 years ago hop in an $87,000 car espousing the virtues of green is more important than anything in the world. No, you would have that Democrat speaking to the common man. Joe Biden doesn't do it anymore. Democrats don't do it anymore. They become the party of the elite, and Republicans need to take advantage of that more so than they have done in 2020 and 2022.
That's such a great point. Remember, he ditched them all together. He ditched those unions during the railroad strike negotiations. So I think that
think about teachers, first responders. They can't afford to live like this.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Compagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.